Dino Babers, your mission is simple. Make a bowl game, you keep your job. Fail to do so, and you will be out after 7 years as head coach of the Orange. So welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, guys, ready to predict Syracuse's schedule and record for this upcoming college football season. A season for Syracuse, guys, that is huge, obviously, for Dino Babers. The Orange need to get to a bowl game, and they have the talent to do so. You take a look at the numbers, guys. The Orange returned 80% of their production from last year, a year where they went 5-7 and had 3 straight losses by 3 points each, falling by 3 to Florida State, Wake Forest, and Clemson. The Orange were 94th in the country on offense last year, but their defense severely underrated, coming in at 19th in the nation. And you look at the offense, guys. Garrett Schrader is back at quarterback. While he's maybe not the best passer in the world, he's got a great size, great frame, and is a great runner. 781 yards and 14 rushing touchdowns last year for Schrader. And Sean Tucker is back as one of the best running backs in the ACC after rushing for nearly 1,500 yards in 2021. The Orange averaged over 213 rushing yards per game. That was good for 16th in the country. The defense, like we just mentioned, 19th in the nation. They returned 8 starters and have a very strong back 8. That linebacking core, that secondary, going to be a strength for the Orange coming into this year. And the thing is, guys, for Dino Babers and his squad, the talent is there. The talent is there on offense. The talent is there on defense. And the Orange were so close to making a bowl game last year where maybe if they had, maybe we wouldn't be talking about Babers being on the hot seat. But all this talent is there, and the schedule is just so difficult that by the end of the year, their overall record might be much worse than this team really is. The team's going to be a lot better than their final record is going to indicate. I can promise you that. We take a look at the schedule, though. Can they go bowling? They open the year up against Louisville. This is a game that's huge for both teams, guys. Both teams desperately need to make a bowl game. Both coaches desperately need to make a bowl game. Who is going to get this pivotal Week 1 victory? It's going to be Louisville. It's going to be the Cardinals. The Cardinals have dominated the Orange in recent years, including a 41-3 victory just last year. The Cardinals, alongside Syracuse, should improve just a little bit here. So even though Syracuse gets to host this game, my logic here, guys, is I don't see a 38-point swing. Even though they have home field advantage, both teams are kind of going in the same direction in terms of returning production, in terms of experience, in terms of talent. And Louisville is not going to be 38 points worse in Week 1. Give me the Cardinals here. Syracuse does beat UConn in Week 2, 1-1, and then they take on Purdue, an interesting ACC Big Ten non-conference matchup. Thing is, guys, Purdue typically would be a game we'd just be like, yep, mark it up as a win for Syracuse, right? Not anymore. Jeff Brom has transformed the Boilermakers into a contender, one that can actually win the Big Ten West this year. Aiden O'Connell will be one of the best quarterbacks within the Big Ten this year. 8 starters are back on the defensive side of the ball, and I do think this game is going to be close. Purdue's going to have to stop the run because that's Syracuse's strength this year. It's not going to be easy. But ultimately, I think Purdue is too good of a team. They really are legit this year, guys. We saw a Purdue team that took down Iowa and Michigan State last year. They can take down Syracuse in the Carrier Dome. Give me the Boilermakers. Syracuse stays at home, takes on Virginia, second ACC matchup, I should say. And we're going to give them a win over the Cavaliers. This is where I think home field advantage is key. I think home field advantage finally plays to the benefit of Syracuse here. And you look at Syracuse, they were 26th in the nation last year against the pass. Defensively, not too bad. Virginia was second in the country in passing. Brennan Armstrong, one of the best quarterbacks statistically in the country. And we know that Syracuse is loaded in the secondary. We also know that Syracuse likes to run the ball, and I fully believe that the Orange will exploit Virginia's poor rushing defense, one that gave up nearly 226 rushing yards per game last year. So with the home field advantage, with Syracuse being able to exploit that defense, and the defense of the Orange not being too bad of their own, I think they take down Virginia. They're 2-2, and now they're 3-2 with a win over Wagner at home. So 3-2 going into their bye week, and then things get tough. Things get very tough. Out of the bye week, they take on NC State, a team they lost to 41-17 last year. The Wolfpack arguably had the best team yet under Dave Doeren. Loaded on offense with Devin Leary leading at quarterback, loaded on defense at every level, defensive line, linebacking core, secondary. Even though Syracuse will be rested, even though they get to host, NC State simply is too good, and again, there's no 24-point swing here. Give me the Wolfpack. They then take on Clemson. Last year in the Carrier Dome, Syracuse only fell by 3 to the Tigers, 17-14. So again, those were one of those one-possession losses that was so crucial in terms of Syracuse missing a bowl game. But this is a different Clemson team, guys. This is a Clemson team that's going to be bouncing back in a big way. Still won 10 games last year. The offense should improve drastically, and the defense will be one of the best in the nation. It's in Death Valley. Give me Dabo Swinney and the Tigers, and it will not be nearly as close as it was last year. Syracuse then takes on Notre Dame. I believe the Orange are pretty lucky to be hosting this game. If it was in South Bend, I'd immediately give it to Notre Dame. So home field advantage will play a bit of a role here, but mid-season, I think Notre Dame's going to start hitting their groove. They're still going to be college football playoff contenders. They can't obviously afford any losses, certainly not one to Syracuse. The defense for Notre Dame, guys, enough people aren't really talking about it. They're going to be pretty dang good. And the offense under Tyler Buchner, I think is going to be improving every single week. The Fighting Irish will be battle-tested. They're going to come on the road and take down Syracuse. Physicality-wise, talent-wise, everything, coaching-wise, all goes to Notre Dame. The only thing that Notre Dame doesn't own here is home field advantage. So Syracuse drops this game again. They then go on the road to Pittsburgh. They fell to the Panthers by 17 last year. And yes, Pittsburgh, they lost Jordan Addison. They lost Kenny Pickett. That doesn't mean Pittsburgh's going to tank. This defense for the Panthers is still extremely good, especially the back seven. Really, the entire defense as a whole. The defensive line's great, but the back seven especially. Keaton Slovis will do just fine at quarterback. The game is now on the road. I don't see Syracuse in the cold weather, early November at Pittsburgh, and that offense and that dominance they're going to have up front in the line of scrimmage. I just don't see the Orange getting the job done here. They fall to the Panthers. And if you're doing the math, guys, you now realize that for Syracuse to go bowling, they have to win out. They have to win their last 3 games. The game against Florida State is one they can win. Again, they only fell by 3 to the Seminoles in Tallahassee just last year. This easily, for me, could be a win, guys. It's one of those toss-up games. But I'm giving the edge to the Seminoles. I think Mike Norvell has finally found his groove. I think Florida State's going to take that step forward now. They're going to make a bowl game in 2022. Jordan Travis took a major step forward last year. The defense is improving, especially with the rushing defense. It improved drastically from 2020 to 2021. I think you're going to see another drastic improvement from 2021 to now. If Seminoles slow down that run game, really if any team can slow down that run game, Syracuse will be in trouble offensively. I think in a close game, the Seminoles get it done, which will eliminate Syracuse from bowl contention. Dino Babers could be fired at this point. Who knows? The last 2 games, guys, against Wake Forest and Boston College, we'll go ahead and tell you now, both going to be losses for the Orange. Wake Forest, yes, Syracuse hung with them, only lost by 3 in overtime last year, but now they're on the road facing Sam Hartman, A.T. Perry, and a Wake Forest defense that hopefully should improve, although they had a horrible rushing defense last year, giving up nearly 200 rushing yards per game. So the game could be relatively close for a while, but the Demon Deacons will pull away. And then obviously at the season finale at Boston College, yes, Syracuse won that game by 15 last year. That was a beat-up Boston College squad, though. If the Eagles are healthy, especially if Phil Jurkovec is healthy, they will be just fine. The Eagles, yes, gave up over 170 rushing yards per game last year. So again, another game where if Syracuse gets the juices flowing on offense, especially in the running game, could be a lot closer. But the Eagles' defense was very underrated last year, 3rd against the pass. We should throw that in there. And the offense will have enough to exploit the Orange if they can stay healthy. That ultimately will be the key. So you see this, guys, we have a Syracuse at 3-9 in 2022. Again, people will disagree with that, but we just said this Orange team is talented. They're loaded with talent. It's a solid squad for the Babers. But the schedule is just so tough that at the end of the year, the record is going to look a lot worse than the team was. This team is going to be better than their final record. If there's 3 games you want to view as toss-ups, or maybe 3 games they could win to go bowling, it's Louisville in the opener. That is pivotal. It is Purdue in week 3 and Florida State in November. Those are 3 games that we were kind of up in the air on and games that we could see Syracuse winning. But after that, I truly believe the rest are set in stone. 6-6 is going to be the max for Syracuse this year. I believe Babers falls short. And because he will fall short, especially at such a low mark, he will be out of a job and Syracuse will be looking for a new head coach heading in to 2023. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and check out everything down in the description below, including those expert picks over on thegridironexpert.com. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.